Hi and welcome. This is the third session of Pisano Academy webinars for this special week. We are celebrating Global CX Day. This is a big honor for us being with you and celebrating together. Today, we have a very special guest, Farah Aboul Hosn. Welcome, Farah.
Hi,
Pleasure to
Tom.
be
How are
with you.
you?
Hi, thank
Same
you.
here.
Thank you so much. Let me make a short intro, then we can start, Farah. Uh,
Sure.
Farah is healthcare operation and patient experience leader. She, with more than 18 years of cross-functional experience in different lines across GCC and MENA region. And she's sharing very valuable contents on LinkedIn and strongly recommend you to follow her. Next 30 minutes, she will share very interesting topic, beyond KPIs and unlock the power of KEI. Farah, if you're okay, we can start with my first question.
Yes. Let me
Yeah,
just share my screen and put our talk for the day. And here we are. Yes,
yeah,
please. Thank you, Ken, first for the whole intro. And I'm more than happy to be with you today. It's an honor for me as well, and it's going to be an interesting talk, I'm sure.
sure. Pleasure with us. Until today, normally we are okay and much familiar with the KPI metrics. So, why do you think that these are not sufficient enough for CX?
Okay, so since I come from a healthcare background, some people recently have been following up in terms of patient experience a little bit more. So this is why I intentionally look at this in a different lens and a different scope, and hence the whole concept of doing this session, which is beyond KPIs, just looking a layer ahead or a step ahead or diving into this whole scope of why efficiency when it comes to KPI is a little bit doubtful these days. So, sorry, my screen is not, my screen
Is
is
it
not
not playing the
no,
screen? Can you try again, maybe?
already. Okay, now.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay, so going to the whole concept of looking into the efficiency matrices, we always look at things in terms of sufficiency and efficiency. So the creation of KPIs actually started as a quality metric. Most companies, not only healthcare companies, organizations all over the globe, they look into KPIs as their uh, main dashboard go to when it comes to strategies and how they bridge their action plans moving forward. So they have served as well. I'm not saying KPIs are not doing what they should do, but now the patients are, or even our customers are more alert. They're more educated. They have lots of platforms to look into. And I always say this when I'm meeting with my healthcare colleagues, patients these days and clients as well, they window shop. They have lots of options to choose from. So in order to differentiate ourselves, we need to look at things differently. So the challenge here look is, and this is why I mentioned this specific sentence here in my slide, is we look at fast as good. We look at fast as efficient. We look at any employee that has finished his job quickly. Yes, amazing, he has done it properly. Or any service that we provide that has been done efficiently as amazing. But was this taken in a different layer where we look at how our customer felt about it and how did this make sense to them? This is where I have my question marks in terms of how I analyze and do gap analysis when it comes to KPIs. So we look at KPIs in terms of limitations, not in terms of only the fact that KPIs are not working. I'm always insisting on this because I don't want people that are looking at KPIs to think that KPIs are not working anymore. I'm just looking at the limitations and how we can expand to make sure that our assessment and evaluation to experience is taking a different layer. So yes, we track waiting time, call center, customer care, satisfaction rates. All of this is part of our day-to-day operations for any type of operation, any type of organization, any type of a simple service service providing facility, this is what they look at mostly. So when we look at how fast did we do our things, how quickly we did it, how efficiently we did it. But the crisis or the limitation comes here into question where, okay, I answered the phone quickly, I helped, but was the patient or the client feeling heard, listened to, or did they feel satisfied with what I provided them? So today, patients are pickers and choosers. So if they want to choose us, not any other company, they need to look at what we're doing as an extra mile. And I feel experience now is an extra mile. Empathy, trust, ease of service, being heard, feeling confident with what we're doing is the new matrices that we weren't looking at before, or we were looking at KPIs and KPIs were in the shadows. This is how I see it.
Yeah, I really understand the customer or the patients doesn't care so much about the companies or organization metrics, but they care about what they feel, how they feel. So the third block say perfectly and clearly the need for human-centered measurements. So my second question is a little bit related with that. Can you explain more a little bit? What are key experience indicators and how they differ from the KPIs?
Perfect. So when we look at KAIs, because this is a new term and a new trend, and I'm sure later on you would see it everywhere when we talk about experience. And if you notice, I'm not focusing only on patients because experience
Yeah.
can be everywhere. So when we look at KAIs, I think KAIs are just a step ahead in terms of the human-centric approach. It's the human side of the experience. It's how we focus our vision and our perspective in terms of how the service was provided. So a simple fundamental difference is we always ask, and I remember how many times I've done KPIs in my life, and I've dotted down a long 2-3 pages where the five W's, what is the KPI, the scope, the formula, and everything. So it is a quantitative tool that's really amazing, but it's always asks, how did we perform or how are we performing? The question that we miss is how did we make the customer feel about the service that we performed? Or was the performance as key or as measurable for the client as we think it is measurable? So this is the understanding in terms of shifting our focus to how it felt instead of how it was done. This goes back to the human-centric point that you have mentioned, that yes, we're looking into a human person-centered approach in terms of how we are assessing our performance. So when to make it more simple, most people that are listening to me now might think, okay, Farah, you know this, so just give us a little bit more of an insight of what do you mean in terms, let us see it apple to apple. So when you look at KPIs, we talk about wait times, we talk about response rates, and I'm going to go through examples later on through our session to make it even more clear. We talk about core resolution percentages as well. We talk about satisfaction. All of these, you hear them everywhere, dashboards, amazing colors, graphs, charts everywhere. But if we want to merge this with an experience approach to go through an indicator, we look at wait time. Okay, the wait time means a frustrated customer.
Yes,
How did he perceive our interaction? Did we leave him there, or did we come and talk to him and simply say, sorry, sir, I know it has been almost 30 minutes. Your appointment is being delayed, blah, blah, blah. The doctor or whoever the person that's providing you the service is delayed for 1, 2, 3 reasons. Instead, what we're currently doing is we're just checking the box that we are benchmarked, we are under, and these are the percentages. The same goes for the emotional connection. If you're talking to an agent, this is why I think now AI agents are a little bit something that's still controversial in terms of answering calls, because the human touch is still needed in these types of approaches. So instead of just assessing how our call center is doing in terms of taking calls, abandoned calls, how many outbound, how many inbound. We need to look at the emotional connection that this agent has done with the customer. Was the customer satisfied? Did he feel that the tone was different? Did he feel listened or heard or understood? So this is where we look at the human side of the interaction, the part where the customer feels as not a number, but a person that's being looked at and feeling empathy from the other side of the service. So a simple example. I'm going to take the healthcare scenario because this happens to everyone. Every one of us has been a patient at one time. And we do choose hospitals based on different experiences. And if you dive even further, most of the people that are loyal to a certain facility and not other, it's because of the experience. And when I say experience, it's the full experience. So the simple benchmark that every KPI, every hospital has is the discharge process, which is a very tedious, it's a headache for everyone, the nurses, the doctors, the patients, their families, everyone, the admission team, all of us. So during that time, we tend to go to the board meetings or the exec meetings. And I was part of these board meetings where I look at these numbers and see, oh, amazing. The med search team are doing amazing. Their discharge is always below 30 minutes. They're doing their job perfectly well. From the other side, being an experienced leader, I look at my numbers and I always see frustration with the discharge. People nagging, people saying, I left and I didn't feel heard. I remember one thing that always clicks in my mind. One patient told me I wasn't ready to leave. So when I asked him, when I dived even more into this, I asked him, what do you mean you weren't ready? He said, Farah, I didn't even know when my follow-up would be, when I should be communicating with my doctor, what medications should I be going through. So all of this was in the head of the patient, and he felt he wasn't listened to, although our numbers were showing that we're doing amazing. The same goes for airlines. Airlines
Yeah.
go for quantitative experiences or quantitative KPIs. So they look, the flight departed on time, arrived on time, no delays, perfect. Thank you guys, you did an amazing job. But if for whatever reason there was a delay or a simple delay that wasn't even matched to their KPIs, they miss out to see the service that happened. You are flying a 17-hour flight or a 5-hour flight or an 8-hour flight. You are there, and there is a team that's supposed to be supporting you and providing you different types of services. As a customer, as a loyal passenger, how would I assess if this was an exceptional experience for me, unless and until I feel that I've been taken care of and I was heard and I wasn't dismissed when I asked for something? So this is where we look at patient loyalty as a different edge and as a different branch of KAIs. This is why I am someone that pushes forward for KAIs as an approach to assess as a full experience.
Yeah, I really understand. So the management team who looks at the left side for KPIs like NPS or
Yeah.
CSAT can be very happy. But on the other side, if they look at the right side, the experience indicator, the view should be totally different. Can you
Yes.
give another example where the KPI looked great on the paper, but the experience indicators told a different story?
Okay. So let's take again the discharge. I always push at the discharge process because this is something that's really a headache for most. It's a bottleneck for most healthcare facilities. So consider this scenario: a patient that's being discharged under 30 minutes. KPIs are amazing. Everyone is uploading. The efficiency box checkbox is there, green everywhere. Targets are met, benchmarks are being done. We're doing amazing with our KPIs. But this patient, as I was saying earlier, they felt confused. They left. They have no idea about their medication. They have no idea about their follow-up. No one has booked their follow-up, which means the patient is leaving and there is confusion about when should I come next or later, or should I or shouldn't I. They feel rushed. Most of the time, they feel that, yes, yes, you just want the bed. They just pushed me to leave and they were just yelling, yelling, leave. So at one point, they reach a point where they feel that this is not what the experience that they expected. And this is a clear failure in terms of KIs. So if I'm sitting at a board meeting looking at strategies and looking at putting action plans, I wouldn't see that there's an issue because the experience people are not there to say, look, guys, I see it in a different lens. I look at this from a different perspective. Did we actually match our patient satisfaction, our patient comments, our patient inputs with our current metric or not? So this is where I try to pick the brains of the board and the executive committees, because we need to look at this in terms of a different perception of how we assess trust, loyalty, regardless of how amazing our checkboxes look. So this is why it leaves everyone confused when they look at the KPIs and then the experienced people in the room are not happy. So this is where this comes from the scope of how we need to put plans further and strategies.
So this is a yellow flag, and
Yeah,
for our audience and the management team, please be prepared. And in sometimes KPI numbers and the metrics may lie.
true, true.
May lie. So, Farah, our audience may wonder that what will be the first step that they can take to start integration of key experience indicators?
Okay, that's a great question because all I'm saying for many people is theory, but how we actually implement this in practice. I always say baby steps are key for any new type of implementation because, again, this is a type of a change management. It might not be a huge type of change management, but it's still a change management. The second most important part for me when putting any type of roadmap is involving people. The worst, the worst step that any corporate can take is taking decisions on the exec high level without involving the people that are actually the key ingredients in this recipe. Because as I said, who are the people that are interacting with our clients? Front of house, customer care, call center. So these people are usually not in boardrooms. These
Mhm.
people are doing their day-to-day work, and they are unfortunately in the bottom when it comes to the management pyramid. So the second most important part for me is doing this step and involving people. The key point to how to implement this type of a roadmap is not to dismiss KPIs. We can never dismiss KPIs.
Yeah.
KPIs are there to stay. They are a very important key indicator for us to look at our operations efficiency. But what I am saying is spice it up and formulate more of a relevancy connection, meaning look at your KPIs the same way we did with our exercise previously. Look at your current KPIs and match them with relevant KPIs. This way, instead of just buying something that's ready-made that might not work for your organization, you are actually doing a proper exercise that's focused on your current KPIs instead of going through lots of hassle and back and forth. So when you match, it's easier for you to merge and have a full metric approach to this. Then the implementation would be less of an effort because then you can put scores, you can put measurements for both the quantitative and the qualitative. And the most important last part of this is including these matrices in your dashboards, in your board meetings, in your patient focus groups,
Mhm.
in your patient family advisory groups, in your customer focus groups. Include these matrices, even if they are, and take this from my experience, even if they are negative, even if you don't like them sometimes, transparency always gives much more of confidence and trust with your clients because then your clients can give you solutions of what you're doing wrong. But if you keep this not available there, then this is where you are putting yourself in a recipe for failure. So that's currently my roadmap in terms of how I think implementation should take place.
Yeah, yeah. So I understand that we are not saying bye to KPIs.
Yeah.
There should be a balance between KPIs and key experience indicators. So
Sure.
it will be my last question to you before we end up.
Yes.
How do you see that balance, especially for year 2026? How they will evolve and for the beyond as well?
Okay. So, as I said, when the first thing is committing to this fact, looking into this from a commitment strategic approach, this will make it easy for any type of organization to put forward these types of implementations in terms of the future, be it 2026 or moving forward. The same way you hear it everywhere now on LinkedIn, on any type of social media, especially with the AI. They always tell you AI hopefully will not replace every single human, but it will replace people who are not actually self-training themselves into the AI scope and into the AI era, if I want to say. The same goes for organizations. Organizations that want to pioneer and want to differentiate themselves in the market than other organizations, they have to include these types of experience matrices within their operational matrices. This way, they can have branched out dimensions in terms of how operationally we're doing well and how empathetic our experiences are to our clients. So when we look at quantifying empathy, because we look at KPIs, it's quantity, it's a number, it's a ratio, it's a percentage. The empathy part or the trust part is always a qualitative. So this might be tricky for certain people who are trying to push this forward and to start with the roadmap that we have discussed. So it's simple. It's again, don't overthink it and don't overcomplicate it because you will make your life harder. It's very simple. Just listen to your patients and listen and look deeply into your feedback. It's simple. Active listening scores. Check how your front of house is doing. How reasonable are their approach and the recognition coming from the patients or from the customers. Train them. Make them know what they need to say and what they cannot say. Put trust matrices there instead of just asking, uh, have you enjoyed or how do you score our organization? Let the patient feel or the customer feel, yes, I do trust. Ask them, how much do you trust us? Don't be afraid to ask these questions. Trust is an amazing metric to assess the patient loyalty. The other things we can always integrate. Now I've seen it, I've been in lots of conferences and lots of meetings where they're going into the AI approach for sentiment analysis, where you can actually assess the wordings from feedback
Yeah,
and try to assess in terms of, was the patient happy?
yeah,
Was the customer satisfied? So this is another way to quantify empathy. Another part is the problem resolution. Yes, we've done close the loop. Make sure that you close the loop. Closing the loop does not mean the problem was solved. Closing
yeah,
the loop means that whoever was having this problem or issue, was he relieved? Does he feel that he's confident and does he trust us with our solution? This is how we translate this type of experience into a quantitative part of empathy. So a simple statistics that's now there, and this is coming from both the US and Europe that have started including, I'm going to say it's a soft launching for KAIs here and there, especially now with, again, having the scope of experience being advertised everywhere in terms of organizations. So if you look, and some people might not see it like I do, but yes, it has to do with customer retention. And I've said this multiple times in our session, patient loyalty, customer loyalty. It comes through positive experiences. It comes through a holistic approach to a human-centered approach experience. Our net scores, our net promoter scores, if they enjoy the experience, if they feel trusted, if they feel that they have been at least shown some empathy, they would trust us, they would trust our service, our products, and they will come back. Employee engagement is very key. These are your soldiers on the ground. These are your front of house, the ones that are interacting with your customers every day. So as long as they are involved, as long as they are happy, their customers are happy. And the most important part for every type of organization is revenue. So at one point, our customer is the one that's paying our salaries. Our customer is the one that we want them to be happy. They are our revenue generators. So if we invest in improving their experience, it means at the end of the day, our business is thriving. Our business value has improved because these people are happy. So this is how I see it from the perspective of looking into things through an experience matrix more. Back to your point, Ham. So KEIs will not replace KPIs. On the contrary, they're just going to give depth and meaning to what KPIs mean. So the future of how customer experience is going to evolve, it's between both. It's between efficiency and empathy, efficiency and trust, operational excellence and patient loyalty. This is how we can transform this into a more human-centric approach. So yes, we can always say hooray for great numbers, but if our customers are not coming back to us, it means the numbers are nothing. The numbers are just numbers that we can just look at and then say why we're losing money, why we're losing patient loyalty or customer loyalty. So this is why, again, it's a harmony of including both of these matrices together and working together into a formula that can quantify both operations and empathy at the same time. So thank you again. And
Yeah.
my last take home message for everyone that's with us today is yes, think about every interaction as a meaningful interaction. And at the end of the day, we're looking at building a more of a human-centric approach that really matters, be it for ourselves or for our customers.
Yeah, Farah, thank you. It was very, very delightful. We are not leaving KPIs, but welcoming to key experience indicators.
Sure, sure.
Uh, Before we close, we can together celebrate the CX Day, CX Week of all audience. And
Yes,
I will remember make a short for the tomorrow program. There
yes.
will be another session. The fourth session will be tomorrow, and there is another special guest from Latin America, from Mexico, Mr. Ruben Espinosa. So stay with us and hope to see you again. Thank you, Farah. Thank you all.
Thank you, Jam. I will make sure that I will attend all of these because I'm sure they're going to be as interesting as healthcare. It's a good mix
Sure.
of panelists. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
Sure. Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you.